Welcome back. On the screen is a table that shows the available tools and their use as they pertain to Azure Migrate. The Server Assessment tool is used to discover and assess on-prem servers, whether they are VMware VMs, Hyper-V VMs, or even physical servers. The assessment tool is used to determine Azure readiness, Azure sizing, Azure cost estimation, and dependency visualization for machines that you plan to migrate to Microsoft Azure. Azure readiness refers to whether or not specific on-prem machines are ready for migration to Azure, while Azure sizing refers to the size of each resulting Azure VM following migration to Azure. The Server Assessment tool's cost estimation provides cost estimates for running your on-prem servers in Azure, and the dependency visualization that the Server Assessment tool provides is a visual way to view cross-server dependencies that exist. It also provides recommendations for optimal ways to move dependent servers to Microsoft Azure. The Azure Migrate Server Assessment tool uses a lightweight appliance that's deployed on-prem to discover on-prem machines. What it does is connect to Server Assessment so it can continually send metadata and performance data for on-prem machines back to Azure Migrate. Because the discovery process is agentless, there's no need to install anything on discovered machines in the on-prem environment. Once discovery completes, you typically sort the discovered machines into groups. You do this because you'll usually want to group machines that you need to migrate together. After grouping your machines, you can then create an assessment for each group that you can then analyze to determine your migration strategy. The Azure Migrate Server Migration tool differs from the assessment tool because it's used to help migrate your on-prem machines to Microsoft Azure. Those on-prem machines can be VMware machines, Hyper-V machines, or even physical boxes. You can even migrate other virtualized machines and even those in other public clouds. While you can migrate machines without first assessing them, Microsoft recommends that you attempt assessment before migration. Azure Migrate also integrates with the Microsoft Data Migration Assistant, or DMA. This combination of tools is used to assess on-prem SQL Server databases for migration to Azure SQL DB, Azure SQL Managed Instances, and even to Azure VMs that are running SQL Server. The Database Migration Assistant provides information about issues that could potentially block a migration. It identifies unsupported features, new features that you may be able to benefit from after migration, and even helps identify the best path for database migration. Because Azure Migrate integrates with the Azure Database Migration Service, or DMS, you can migrate on-prem databases to Microsoft Azure. You can use the Database Migration Service to migrate on-prem databases to various targets, including Azure VMs that are running SQL, the Azure SQL DB service, and even to Azure SQL Managed Instances. Moveer is actually a software-as-a-service platform. What it does is improve business intelligence by accurately presenting entire IT environments within a single day. This solution was actually acquired by Microsoft. However, Moveer is no longer sold as a standalone offer. Instead, it's available through the Microsoft Solution Assessment and Cloud Economics programs. Azure Migrate also integrates with the Azure App Service Migration Assistant. Using the Azure Migrate Hub, organizations can assess and migrate on-prem web apps to Microsoft Azure. You can use the Azure App Service Migration Assistant to assess on-prem websites for migration to the Azure App Service, and you can use it to migrate .NET and PHP apps to Microsoft Azure. Lastly, Azure Data Box products are used to move large amounts of data to Microsoft Azure.